This was the justice system I was being thrown into. The first thing that they must do is discredit the person's character and the truth. In my case, these people must be clever. They must have all been stood in the field watching, using the word aggressive, throwing that descriptive wording aggressive for impact and drama. Why not the word carefully? This is the justice that we are brainwashed to believe and accept. How many other innocent people have been framed? Judge Isabel de Cox got very agitated with me. Though I didn't understand much, I knew that I was the target, the one to blame and attack, no matter what. Let's just ignore any truth or uninvestigated information. A strong message came into my head. This is your only chance. He, Raposo, won't ask your questions. You ask them. My recordings may be more accurate to what I asked, but this is my memory now in 2021. The only way they could get me to cause the accident was for me to have aggressively been overtaken at speed, not me trying to get to a safety, because the car in front was driving wrong and all over the road. The topic of my memory came up in a sarcastic way. You don't remember Christmas before. How can you remember the accident? Was Judge de Cox's attitude. Has she not heard of Freud and his theory of things stimulating the memory? I was in the same hospital, same surroundings, same noises, smells and some of the same staff. I was never unconscious throughout my accident. It was in my memory somewhere. Also, if I was going to conveniently remember it as Judge Isabel de Cox was implying, I should have remembered it before the 15th of April 2019. I should have remembered it before December 18th, 2017, the date we should have been in court. The court date cancelled 3 times because of the incompetence of Christopher Lendon, the third expert. I couldn't believe what Judge de Cox said next. If he was slumped at the wheel, the car would have slowed down and stopped. My response, well, his foot could have stayed on the acceleration pedal as he slumped forwards. I'm thinking to myself, she's a judge. So when you faint, have a heart attack or fall asleep at the wheel while driving, you first put your car out of gear, handbrake on, hazard lights on, stop the car, and then you can slump at the wheel. The very fact that your foot was on the gas before the problem occurs means it is probably stays where it is, and the force of the forward motion of the body may even accelerate the gas more. Now I had to think on my feet. She was going for my jugular. So I said, knowing that there hadn't been one carried out, the autopsy will give us the time and cause of death. She didn't like that. Judge de Cox turned to the judge to the right and demanded they look up the time of death. With her importance and aggressive manner, here's that word again, but she was aggressive, she looked straight at me, well, through me, and said it was 10 p.m. I said, that's the time he was pronounced dead. The first person on the scene who phoned for help, in her statement, she said there was no sign of life, and in at least 4 Pompeius statements, they said there was no life. One even thinking and stating in his police statement it had been an heart attack, and that was before 9 p.m. That was it. I was now about to get hung, drawn and quartered by everyone, the pack of hungry lions advancing. I did also ask, why do we not have medical records of an 85-year-old? They asked for mine, and I'm in my early 50s, 52 at the time of the accident, but no answer. Hugo Raposo, the solicitor given to me by Allianz, who was supporting my corner having the attitude of no mention of alcohol, no mention of the driver being 85. He stated that things like no autopsy or medical records and the legal investigation was not being done correct, and then goes on to state it could have revealed an health incident. He never mentioned the fact that the second national expert, Mark Pusch, was the only one not to make a fundamental mistake. It took only a month to produce a very high quality piece of work, opposed to the other two, Pascal and Lendon. They took 9 months and Lendon over a year, with many mistakes. And Pusch, the national expert, concluded a number of things. 1. The way the evidence the cars had been unpreserved and contaminated meant they could not be legally used as evidence. And 2. I did not cause the accident. Mr. Raposo didn't bother with any of that. For a student lawyer, this case was a gift. All you needed to do was highlight the unlawfulness of the whole cruel bullying situation. Instead, the so-called solicitor pussyfooted around and even states she has to live with the death of 2 people. That is difficult to admit. Moral pain plus physical pain. What? I was the only moral, honest person in this circus of lies, cover-ups and manipulation. So you can imagine, I was not in a good place. But the prosecutor, Miss Rayern, had her pound of flesh to get yet. The prosecutor, Miss Rayern, said Miss Walker should be sentenced to 3 years imprisonment, cancellation of her driving licence, forbidden to take another test to drive any vehicle. I had been driving since September 2017 with one hand and not had an incident at all, just as I had for all those years before, until I was on the same road at the same time as Mr. Dupont. In France, we cannot make the decision respecting abroad, but we can sue Miss Walker if she does not comply with the decision. If she takes a driving test, she may be sued. Remember back in 1980, when I was threatened, bullied and attacked at the age of 12 by Mrs. Sanderson, a PE teacher, on the first day of high school. I promised myself then I would never allow anyone to bully me again. I would speak my truth and live with my integrity and honesty. I can't do anything other than that. I would not accept these bullying, fear-evoking tactics by people who have the power to cover up, dismiss the truth and corrupt a situation. It's not how I choose to live. I was not having any difficulty in accepting anything except lies and bullying. I would not run away from this cruel and dishonest situation. I wanted the truth that the family and the friends of Mr. and Mrs. Dupont already had, but were keeping it well and truly hidden. I was destined to expose the way this system operates, to be able to help and show others that they must fight for their rights and not fear the bullies and their false power. I felt that was the reason I miraculously survived. I tried to plead with Judge Isabel de Coates that I did not cause the accident. She just got up and walked away, shouting back over her right shoulder, "You can appeal if you think you are innocent."